It looks weird. I mean, it is a fraction or a decimal. It's, so don't think just because you got it in that way that it's wrong. I guess technically you could have found the first 7 terms and just added them, but I would think that using that formula would be easier. You have got in fraction form 127 over 4. In decimal form you have 31.75. Yes, no, maybe? No. Okay. All right, let's figure it out here. Okay, I'm just plugging it in. Probably it's the way you're plugging it in. Okay, so S sub 7, the sum of the first 7 digits, and I don't know whether it would be easier to do the first one or the second one. 16, let's do the first one since we did the second one last time. Okay, 16 minus 16 times 1/2 raised to the 7th power. Okay, you with me? Over 1 minus 1/2. Now, you should be able to do this in your calculator if you put another set of parentheses right there. Okay, if you put another set right there, so you have 16 minus parentheses, 16 times parentheses, 0.5, probably would be easier, raised to the 7th power, okay, in the parentheses. I get an answer for that, and then I'm going to divide it by 0.5, because 1 minus 1/2 is 0.5. So I'm going to get 31.75, or when I convert it to a fraction, I get 127 over 4. Okay, it's probably a parenthesis issue that you have. That's the only difficulty with this. All right, moving on here. Sometimes they give you the answer and you've got to work backwards. So they might give you one that looks like this, where they say, find a sub 1. That's what I'm looking for. If S sub 7, so the sum of the first 7 numbers, is 70,933, and R equals 4. Now there's a couple ways you could do this. You know this is a 7 thing, so if you wanted to, you could write down 7 blanks, this being in the last blank, and you could divide through by 4 each time, working your way backwards. That would work. Or you can look down here in this one, and you can go, well, and it would be easier to use this. So 70,933 is equal to a sub 1, which I don't know, 1 minus 4 raised to the 7th power over 1 minus 4. Okay, you with me so far? So 70,933 equals a sub 1. Okay, I need to get a value there. So 1 minus 4 raised to the 7th power is going to give me a negative 16,383 over negative 3. Okay, now I can do this one of 2 ways. I can go ahead and get a value here, or I could multiply both sides by negative 3. It doesn't matter. Okay, if I want to reduce that down, I've got that divided by negative 3, so I can write this as 70,933 equals 5,461 times a sub 1. Okay, all I did was say I took that and I divided it by that. Now how am I going to solve for the a sub 1? Divide. Okay, so I have 70,933 divided by the 5,461, and I'm going to get a sub 1 is equal to 12.989. Now I'm going to try and convert it back to a fraction. It is a big fraction. Okay, so I would say that you just need to just leave it like that. Okay. Little bit harder to do those. Let's go forward here. Let's do another one like that.
Can I go to the restroom?
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna put one up here, and y'all work on it while Reagan's up the restroom there. S of 8 is equal to 13,120. And R equals 3, and I'm looking for A sub 1, okay? Truthfully, it's really all formula use. It's really what this whole chapter is about. Shell, is that what you got? Get it, Joseph? Should be 4.
I have 3.99.
What in the world? Is that how you set it up? Did you get negative 6,560 when you did the parentheses up there? 1 minus 3 raised to the 8th power?
You put me negative?
Yeah, it would have been negative because it's 1 minus that.
Yeah, positive.
That's what happened then. Okay.
Why did 1 plus parentheses negative 3 raised to the
1 minus 3 to the, oh, you did negative 8.
8? 1 plus negative 3 raised to the
Okay, did you put the negative in parentheses?
8.
And it, okay. But it didn't give you that? Let me see it.
Give me a 62.
Okay, that's because the negative, that's a subtraction.
Oh.
Okay, it's a subtraction. The negative's not on the 3.
Oh.
Okay, see, otherwise it would have been in parentheses there. So that's what happened. Okay. All right, one last thing in this section. Okay, now you've already done this. It's using the sigma. Okay, so if I have a sigma, now it's going to tell me whether it should tell you whether it's a geometric sequence or whether it's an arithmetic. Now, in this particular section, it probably won't tell you because they're assuming that you know it's geometric. Okay, so it's written like this: n equals 1, and I've got a 5 up here, and then I have 4 times 3 raised to the n minus 1 power. All right, again, this is one where you could do it by hand. You could plug in 1, you could plug in 2, you could plug in 3, you could plug in 4, you could plug in 5, and add all those answers together and get the sum. That's one way you can do it. The other way you can do it is go, well, you know what? I know I'm down here. So I know a sub 1 I can get when I plug this thing in. When I plug in the 4 times the 3 raised to the 1 minus 1 power, what is that equal to?
0,
Okay, that's a 0 power. So what's 3 raised to the 0 power?
1,
1. So what's a sub 1?
4.
4. Okay, so I've got the a sub 1. Now all I got to figure out is the n. Okay, so if I have the n, I could figure out maybe, I could go back and figure out the ratio, right? So that, how am I going to find the a sub n? Plug in the last number. Okay, so I have 4 times 3 raised to the, do I know what n is? The n is 5, right? Okay, don't get the n here mixed up with the n as far as what term to find. Okay, don't let that mess you up. So I've got 4 times 3 raised to the 4th power. So that's going to be 324, right? Okay, so I'm coming over here. I've got the last number. I've got 324 is equal to 4, which is the first number. I'm right here. Don't know my R. What is my N? 5 minus 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So I think they messed you up here with using the N. Okay, I'm going to change it. Okay, we're changing that. So basically my last number is 324. Okay, once I plug the 5 in. To come back here and find how many numbers I used, I do 5 minus 1 is 4, plus 1, just like I did on last night's homework. So this is going to be 5 minus 1, okay, or 4. So I'm going to divide by 4. So I have 324 divided by 4. So I have 81 is equal to r to the 4th power. How am I going to find what r is?
4 through.
3?
How about 2? Oh, no, it's 3. It's 3, because it's the 4th root of it. Okay, so r is equal to, is it plus or minus 3?
Both.
Okay, it could be both, I would think, okay?
Yeah.
They let it be positive, and the reason why they did the positive is because if you put it back up here as a negative, you would end up being a fraction. Okay, so they're going to let you have a positive 3, and then I'm going, oh, then I just got to plug it in. Now I've got everything, okay? I've got the r equals 3. So I've got a sub 1, I've got r, and I've got my n, which is going to be 5. Okay, and I plug it back into this equation. It's going to give me the sum. That's more confusing. It's way more confusing. Let's try another one on those. This one, I think they messed you up by giving them an n. It messed with our brain. Okay, this is going to be an 8. I'm going to change. I'm going to make that a y. All right, that's what they give me. So I want to find a sub 1. I want to find my r, and because I got to have the r, and I want to find my n. I need all those things in order to find the sum of it. Do I not? Doing it that way? Now, I could, the easier way to do this one might be plug it in and just add from 5 to 8. I don't know. Alright, so to find a sub 1, I am oh, and I can also find the last one. Well, a sub n. Alright, a sub 1, I'm plugging it in here, so I've got 10 minus 9. What's 10 minus 9? 1. So I have 1/2 times 3. So I have a sub 1 is 3 over 2. Okay, would you agree with that? Alright, a sub n, if I plug the 8 in, I've got 16 minus 9, which is 7. So I have 0.5 times 3 raised to the 7th power. And that's going to give me, there's a decimal value here. That's going to give me that. Okay? I can use this to find my r. What's my n going to be?
3 and 4.
4, because I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3, but I'm going to add 1 more to it, so that's going to give me that. Now I can use all that in this particular problem over here to find what my ratio is. That's the only way to find my ratio. So I have a sub n is 1093.5 is equal to a sub 1. If I want to, I can change that to a decimal value just to make life easier, times r raised to the 4 minus 1 power, or r raised to the 3rd power. Okay, I'm going to divide by 1.5. And I'm going to get r cubed is equal to 729. So I'm going to take the cube root of that, which you actually do have a cube root on your calculator. It's the 4th one down. So if you want to use that, that's fine. So I find out that r is equal to 9. Okay, so now I've got the r. Now all I have to do is plug in down there. Okay, so s sub 4 is equal to 1.5 times 1 minus 9 raised to the 4th power over 1 minus 9. Okay, so 1.5 times parentheses 1 minus 9 raised to the 4th power. I'm going to get an answer for that. Then I'm going to divide by a -8. And I'm going to find out that the sum of this series of the first 4 numbers is 1,230. It's all formula use. All right, I am going to put your homework up here. And you've got 2 sections, and this finishes this chapter. Okay, page 667. I want you to do 18 through 40 even. That's all with the sequence. And then with the series, I want you to do page 674. I want you to do 18 through 40 even, again. And then I want you to do one with a sigma, let's do, and these are going to be big numbers, okay? I don't want you to do